Radio. If you click the schedule button, it can tell you the different programs that are available to you. If you click the you can subscribe, you can join up, you can sign up. You can also do me a favor, click the shop button, click the donate button. If you're in a position where you can share, I would really, I know that our whole team would really appreciate you basically sharing out with that as many people as you possibly can. Also, I want you to know that I'm in the process. I guess I can't get my brain wrapped up around what I want to say is because I'm too busy enjoying the Jefferson from American Pride Roasters Coffee. It's a wonderful blend of coffee available to you at American Pride Roasters Coffee, which is historically great coffee, and I enjoy this great coffee, and I believe that you will as well if you endeavor to get some yourself. American Pride Roasters Coffee is the official coffee of Mojo Fiber Radio, and we appreciate every last one of people who have decided to endeavor to get into this coffee blend that we enjoy. Is definitely not, it's far from bland. If anything is bland, it's my brain this morning and trying to get it to connect and reconnect on everything. Not only that, maybe I'm suffering and I'm needing myself some biofeedback therapy from New Life Holistics. Go to newlifeholistics.com, speak to Anthony Macchiotti, and learn from him on what you need to about the biofeedback therapy. And we go from there. I don't know why I am tongue twisted today, but it just doesn't seem like I can get an idea or a concept together to work in the direction that I want it to. And maybe because of the fact that it's our topic today, organizational spills, clutter or bust. Organizational skills, clutter or bust, and I think that's basically the way where I am right now with my my brain, because of the fact that I've been looking at this thing that my wife has shared with me called Clutterbug, and it has been very, very cool. What I've learned from this, it's been an eye-opening experience for me this past weekend. And that'll be the main topic we'll go over today. But I want to cover some of the main issues, story type topics that are out there right now. And if you want to interact, you can go to Facebook.com/Battle4Freedom. I see Jamie and Heidi there. Both of them. Jamie is she's one of the halves of the awesome crew. Lep is the other half on Ain't You a Peach. You can catch them on a weekend on Mojo Fiber Radio. Where is that? This is odd. I'm missing something. Oh, I guess it wants to push me back to the old view. Really? Oh, there it is. Ah, that's the reason why I didn't want to show up. That's because I'm hidden back there. Okay, there you are. So, just talking about the different topics that are out there today. I was trying to figure out where my screens are. Too many screens, too early for me to function. But I appreciate every last one of you as we sit here and do this. Thank you. Ain't You a Peach? Check them out. You will see they're one of the shows available to you. And there is Lep. He joined as well, too. He's the other half. So now we have a full Monty or or full Peachy. So you can enjoy and listen to them. Organizational spills, clutter or bust. My brain has just been nothing but utter clutter. My desk, my office, my life has just been utter clutter. And I want to figure out a way to declutter because it is highly necessary just to make certain that I'm finally awake. So let's get into some of the topics because this other thing is going on here. So on the issue of organizational skills, before we get into this, I'm going to remember a few people that have passed just yesterday. So yesterday, unfortunately, we had a tragedy here in Indiana, not far from where I'm at right now. And it's in a town called Elwood. Elwood police officer loses his life. Here you go. Basically, at 2 a.m. yesterday morning, 24-year-old Elwood officer Noah Chavez was conducting a traffic stop near the intersection of State Road 37 and County Road 1100 North in Madison County, and he lost his life. And it's heartbreaking. I mean, it's heartbreaking when any officer loses his life. And just a routine stop. The person was captured, and if you can, do me a favor and keep him lifted up. Actually, this is just 4 days after a good friend and family member, Lieutenant Aaron Allen. He was married to my wife's cousin, first cousin, and he lost his life 5 years ago, last Wednesday. It's hard to believe that it's 5 years removed since he lost his life in the line of duty. And we sit here and I try and work my way through this. Hello, Paula. Thank you for joining. We have this problem of this lawlessness that's going on. And I'm telling you, the reason why we have the lawlessness, I think it's even with today's topic about the idea of organizational spills, clutter or bust. I think we're functioning in bust and clutter. Or it should be declutter or bust. I think it's clutter or bust, and I'm glad that I messed up the subtitle, because it's clutter or bust, and I think that's where we've been functioning, and not in decluttering. We're just in mess or worse, and it's just unfortunate. We need to move away from this, but please keep Officer Chavez. Keep him in your prayers, his family in your prayers, the department in your prayers, all law enforcement in prayers, because we have people who do not respect life. They don't respect life in the womb. They don't respect life outside the womb. They don't respect the figures of authority. And we need to declutter all the business that's going in our lives so that we could function better in helping our communities. You just have to do that. Not only him, let's move on to another person. This was an interesting one too. NBA legend, Bill Russell dies. And this is very interesting for him because of the fact that he was 88 years old. I know of Michael Jordan. I know about, LeBron James and, Steve Curry, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. But I didn't really know much about Bill Russell. And it's very, very interesting for him just knowing that he's 11-time NBA, 11-time NBA winner. So he's won 11 titles, which is huge. Because, I thought that Michael Jordan had the highest with 6 rings. But Bill Russell, I think he was in the highest scorer, I think. Or it might have been Julius Erving. Can't remember, but either way, a basketball legend. Just really appreciating who he is. Thank you, Carolyn, for joining and being part of the program. And not only was it him, you also had Lieutenant Uhura. She passed away at 89. Nichelle Nichols. Oh my goodness! You're sitting here, you're thinking like, oh my goodness, Lieutenant Uhura. She is beautiful and just a beautiful spirit. And, it was really, you only live so long. And actually making it to 88 for Bill Russell and 89 for, Nichelle Nichols. Praise God. They lived a long, fulfilled life. And we just want to wish them on to eternity, praying that they all had a relationship with Christ, especially the police officer who lost his life yesterday morning. And now let's move away from that and let's get into some other different things. Let's go a little political here for a second. So Ted Cruz decides, I'm moving through fast with this because I want to spend more time on the organizational stuff from Clutterbug. Ted Cruz, in a beast mode, shares a clip of Bill Clinton acknowledging something that Biden won't, that recession is 2 quarters of negative GDP growth, as 95% of voters say inflation affects how they cast their midterm ballot. Now, this is key because of the fact that, again, and it's funny that he would use Bill Clinton because we know what is. Well, we're in a recession. We were in a recession since last year. But there was a rejection. We were in inflation. We were in a recession last year. And there's a rejection of that truth, of that reality. But you know what? Time will tell. Time will tell if people will wake up. The polls. This is it. You complained about the worst economy from Donald Trump in the midst of a pandemic. in the midst of a pandemic and recovering from a pandemic. But here it is. There's zero pandemic. What is it? 76% of the country is vaccinated. Is that the number? Is that the correct number? 71 to 76% of the United States is vaccinated? Or maybe as low as 61%? But for some strange reason, there's a refusal to say or speak the truth. Again, I think that the midterms, if people are unhappy with the intrusions that are coming back, the intrusions that are going to be coming back, as monkeypox is being declared this great threat to humanity, we might be looking at seeing this nonsense happen once again. Just had to enjoy some more American Pride Roasters coffee. And give myself up, although I'm speaking fast enough that I probably don't need it. So here's another one, another story that I thought was very interesting. And this one, I'm glad, because it almost kind of like leads into furthermore of research of what we need to do on trying to be healthy, stay healthy and everything like that. My wife has done the research on this. And it was the idea that Banana Boat recalls spray sunscreen after it was found to contain cancer-causing chemical benzene, which can trigger leukemia. Banana Boat issued a recall for its hair and scalp sunscreen spray SPF 30. The product testing revealed trace amounts of the cancer-causing chemical benzene. The chemical came from the propellant that sprays the sunscreen out of the can. Benzene exposure can result in blood disorders, leukemia, and other cancers. And see, it's really sad because they knew this a long time ago. My wife even did the research on this. She moved our kids away from using Banana Boat and the other different brands that are out there. I mean, she's known this for years. And they're coming out with this data now that there was benzene in there. We knew that there was benzene in there. And how many people are so eager to get back to the beach and, and just finally throw your hair down, run out to the beach, travel, get out into the sun and get all the exposure, and you're spraying this chemical on you because you had to rush through and get this done and didn't do your due diligence and research. I think all of us need to do that and make certain that whatever chemicals we're putting on us or in us is actually to our benefit and not killing us. Because there's another chemical that we've been putting in us that has been killing us. But got to kind of watch what I'm going to say because that could get me in trouble. But here's another one, which was really sad. Oh, yeah. Should I do that one? Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Whew. Let's have fun with this one here. This is a video of a young lady in Australia. Why brutal COVID lockdowns? I'm going to put this in a loop so that you don't need to hear everything that's going on here. But why brutal COVID lockdowns and addictions to TikTok are driving mystery illness in teenage Aussie girls as parents fear the worst of uncontrollable tics. Girls across the world suffering from mystery neurological illness, Tourette syndrome-like condition forming mostly in young women. Tics include violent physical and verbal outbursts that are uncontrollable. Experts believe the disorder is linked to pandemic stress and social media use. Experts. I wonder if these are the same experts that has recommended certain things, certain courses of actions to take to survive the pandemic. So between heart inflammation, tick, uptick in cancer, uptick in violence, and all these other different things. It's everything but the one thing that we want to have the discussion on. Hey, Carrie, thank you for being part of the program. Here it is again. That people's lives are being affected because of this. Heart inflammation. Oh, that's conspiracy theory. That this is going to happen. Oh, that's conspiracy theory. You're not an expert. You don't know what you're talking about. But all these sudden deaths, sudden illnesses, that just mysteriously cropped up out of nowhere. Yeah, I think we should be afraid. We should be very, very afraid about how bad this is going to get. Folks, wake up. We're in a world of trouble. We're in a world of trouble, and if we don't wake up and start asking and demanding answers. But you know what? I think the reason why we can't demand answers is because we're too cluttered. So my wife introduced me to this person. I can't remember how long ago this was, but I remember when she first told me about it, I was a little bit resistant because I was busy. I was cluttered between work and so many other different things. I had this cluttered filled life that prevented me from better understanding what was important or what mattered most. And, you know, now that I've gone through this lesson and I feel, you know, my wife, she's an angel. Continue to pray for her as she has had to deal with me. So let's get into this young lady from Clutterbug. There's a link to who she is in my timeline, or actually in the description of the program, and you can enjoy this. But let's go into this video so you can enjoy Mrs. Clutterbug.
Today we're talking about the 4 organizing styles, and I'm going to answer your most frequently asked questions. First, I'm going to break down the 4 styles. Here's the thing. Organization is not one size fits all. All the things you find in stores or you see on TV, they're generally one style. But if you've struggled and felt messy, or you're tidying something up and it seems to get messy again right away, it's probably because you organize differently. So I love saying to people, you're not messy, you just organize differently. And I'm going to make the 4 styles really simple. Basically, there are visual people and there are hidden organizers. If you're a visual organizer, for you it's out of sight, out of mind. You love to see your stuff. If you're a hidden organizer, you would prefer to have those everyday items out of sight. You like visual simplicity. And the other side of the 4 styles is if you're a micro thinker or a macro thinker. And a micro thinker is a detail-oriented person. They are planners. And a macro thinker is a big picture thinkers. They're not really into small details. When it comes to organization, micro organizers, they love putting things in little categories. They'll stop and take the time to put things away in a detailed way. Whereas macro organizers, it's about fast, easy. They just want to toss because their mind has already moved on to something else. So let's jump right in and start with a B. A B is a visual organizer, so it's out of sight, out of mind. They love to have their everyday used items out where they can see them and they're easy to access so they don't forget about it. This is why open shelving, lots of hooks, pegboards, any type of visual organization is perfect for a B. A B is also a micro organizer, so they're very, very detailed. They tend to be perfectionists. They like things done in a certain way. And because doing micro organization is time consuming, maybe they're looking for the perfect product, they tend to procrastinate or put things off until they can do it properly. They also struggle with just indecision. What's the best way to organize? They research a lot, they plan, they overplan. And this is all part of that micro thinking and micro organization.
So, my wife is a B. Mrs. B. She's not Mrs. P. She's Miss B. And I tell you, it's so funny because as you get through these videos, hey, Amy, thank you for joining. I'm not going to lie to you. My wife is a B. There are many times when she's trying to get some stuff done, and I love her organizational skills. She's done the Japanese woman, her name fails me right now. It'll come back to me in a minute here. But it's funny because the fact is, stop buying, that might help. That's what Carrie says. But you know what? It's funny because I believe that 90% of the things that my wife has bought for me has worked. I just have to slowly move into and understand who I am because of I just did not understand until I finally watched a movie. She sent this She sent this to me a gazillion years ago, and I finally had the time to look at it yesterday. I was in a good mood. I was in just a moving mood, and I think I now understand why. I have some other challenges in other areas of my life because of this. So it's very interesting. Even as I do my broadcast, I have everything in one screen, but I could actually micro-organize so I can see all the different topics rather than having everything on top of one another. I could literally change everything and look. Mariconda, that's the name, Scott. Thank you. Yep, Mariconda. So for me, even broadcasting, I love. There's this really good guy that I love following. If you follow me on YouTube, you'll see he's part of my list of links for respect to just the experience for me doing better as a broadcaster or whatever, and his Streaming Alchemist. And he is a brilliant individual who just has great ideas, great concepts. For me, just a lot of the tools that I use for broadcasting to you right now, he's just shown some better ideas and concepts. And so I'm trying to figure out a way to better follow his example, and so that I can feel comfortable knowing that I'm going through and doing, I think that my marriage is going to be saved. I'm just keeping it real. I think my marriage is going to be saved because of Clutterbug. Because I'm not lying to you. I was trying to figure out what in the world is going on and why am I having all these challenges. And at first I was like, do not put me in a box. Do not put me in a box, but my wife is a bee, and I put a link in the top of the timeline. You can go find Clutterbug, and actually the article, if you sign up, she won't spam you. Sign up for Clutterbug, and there's a Clutterbug PDF file that you can get that breaks down, there's a great breakdown of showing the different styles, the butterfly, the cricket, the ladybug, the bee. I'm going to tell you these now so that maybe you can, make sure that you have it before when we come back from the break, then you can have the breakdown of the different ones on here. But I'm not going to lie to you. So as we go through these different ones on here, see which one is you. Well, you know what? Let me do this. Hey, Tim, thanks for joining. Tim and Brandon, I really appreciate you guys joining. So let me give you the breakdown actually before we go to the break here. The butterfly is a visual organizer who can easily forget about items when they are, okay, let me start from the bottom and work my way to the top. The bee is a visual organizer who likes to see their everyday used items out in the open. Bees also tend to be perfectionists who like a detailed, organized system with many categories for their things. A bee struggles with more than any other type with letting go. Ladybug. A ladybug is a hidden organizer that likes their everyday used items to be out of sight. Ladybugs struggle to maintain a detail system and tend to shove and hide things, so they need large bins and baskets with fewer, less detailed categories. A cricket is a hidden organizer who prefers to have their items stored behind closed doors. They are also very detail-oriented and like to sort their items into many small categories. A cricket doesn't mind stopping to open a lid or sort items when putting things away. And then finally, a butterfly is a visual organizer who can easily forget about items when they are stored out of sight. They also struggle to maintain really detailed organizing systems and prefer fewer and larger categories when sorting their things. We're going to go a little bit more on the different things when we get back from the break. But for now,
John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. Romans 10:14 through 17. How then will they call on him who they have not believed? And how are they to believe in him of whom they have never heard? And how are they to hear without someone preaching? And how are they to preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the good news. but they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah says, Lord, who has believed what he has heard from us? So faith comes from hearing, and hearing through the word of Christ. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old is passed away. Behold, the new has come. I share these passages with you because of the fact that we know John 3:16. We probably barely hear Romans 10:14 through 17. And most doubtedly, we never hear 2 Corinthians 5:17. Life as a believer in Christ requires change. To make a decision for Christ, we recognize that there is something wrong in our lives and we need to do different. We need to be better, but we can't be better on our own strength. So we hear the gospel message, moved by the Spirit of God, and we respond. I ask you now, if you've heard the message, please respond and live for His glory. Triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Battle for Freedom. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prudier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio. I appreciate every last one of you as we return to this idea of talking about organizational skills. Hey, Trisha, thank you for joining and being part of the program. As we sit here, we talk about organizational spills, not organizational skills, organizational spills. Is clutter or bust? But I'm thinking that I forgot declutter. So it should be clutter, declutter, clutter, or bust. Because of the fact that we sometimes don't know how to get into that organizational spot. So again, I'm sharing this from a person named Ladybug, and how we are literally on the precipice. My marriage is going to be saved because of the fact that I finally found a system that will work with me moving into better organizational skills. I don't know about you, but I know me. I am a very unorganized person, and I have to gather my thoughts. There's a million and one things I've done. There are so many tasks I've tried to take in my life at the same time that I finally have to realize there are certain things I can no longer have in my life. Because they hold me or distract me from focusing on the things that really, 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 really matter. And no apologies needed, Trisha, on that. Let's see. Where is this? Holy moly guacamole. I'm trying to figure out where is this title feature, because I'm trying to get this thing working here. No, that's not the one I wanted. We'll figure out where it is. But Brandon says, imagine buying all that just to put it in space you could use for something of real use. You know what? Honestly, I've done that at times too, though. Me, on my attempts to organize, I've purchased things that, honestly, it's like, you need to have the habit of organizing before you start putting things to be organized. I mean, there's absolutely zero reason for you to turn around and get that thing if you don't have the habit of putting things away, putting things aside. My wife has she's cleaned my area and unfortunately we only have one sink in our bathroom, the master bathroom. So she cleans my corner of the kitchen, but of the bathroom. And kitchen's a whole nother story. She did a great job reorganizing that, decluttering that. That looks great. But like, she's cleaned my area in the bathroom a bunch of times, and it has just been annoying me that I finally, like yesterday, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that, and I'm halfway through the way I want my side of the bathroom to look like, because bless her heart, bless her soul, bless her spirit. Amy said she's the last one. I'm the last person in that list, with respect to, being a clutter bug. It is just a nightmare. I'm telling you, my wife is an angel, dealing with me as
clutterific as I am. Well, let's see, what were the categories again? Let me see if I can actually bring this to you of the different. I just brought this in. Hello, McFly. Here it is. Okay, let me bring this over so you can see this one, and I will update this one so that you can see what this one looks like. Screenshot. There you go. Oh, that's not what I wanted. No. Really? Not that one. I want my MTV. Okay, there you go. Yeah, for those of you who are old enough to know what I was just saying. Here you go. So as they do the breakdown of the different categories that you have here, remember, starting from the bottom, a B is where she started. A B is a visual organizer who likes to see their everyday used items out in the open. The ladybug is a hidden organizer who likes their everyday used items to be out of sight. A cricket is a hidden organizer who prefers to have their items stored behind closed doors. I'm actually in between a butterfly and a cricket, but I'm so truly a butterfly. A butterfly is a visual organizer who can easily forget about items when they are stored out of sight. I think there's a fifth category that needs to be created, which is a roach. I think there might be a cockroach at times. I may be as much as I hate the mess and disorganization and everything like that. Yeah, it just drives me on the wall. Don't turn on the lights, because if you turn on the lights, you actually see the mess. But she didn't create this category. I think I may have to the roach of the people who are completely helpless. That's the category. You just don't know what to do. It doesn't matter how many electric shocks or electric collar you may wear to get organized. You're just pathetic like me. So let's go back to no, my wife does not shock me with a collar to be organized. Just putting that out there before anyone picks up the phone to call CPS or something like that. Spouse Protective Service or SPS, Spouse Protective Services or something like that. No, my wife doesn't do that to me. Let's get back to what she's saying here.
Next, we have the complete opposite bug, which is a ladybug. Ladybugs are hidden organizers. They like everything to be out of sight. Some ladybugs, like myself, were a little extreme. We don't want to have any visual sort of clutter out at all, to the detriment of us. We're also macro organizers, which means we need fast, simple, easy solutions. And when that isn't set up, we just shove and hide our stuff anywhere, because our big picture goal is maybe a clean kitchen. So we'll just shove all the things in drawers and anywhere out of sight. It's for this macro tendency that drawer dividers, lots of bins and baskets, that's what's really going to help a ladybug stay organized. Big containers all over the place so they can hide their things out of sight, but in a really big macro way. Next, we have a cricket. A cricket is a tree.
Before I get into the cricket, and what she was just saying here, on the ladybug about putting the things away. And okay. For you Joe Pesci fans, I'm struggling here a little bit because, I believe we all should have some level of organization in our lives. Okay? Don't get me wrong. I believe in organization. We all need an organized life. The Word of God says He is not a God of chaos and confusion. Okay? And clutter is chaos and confusion. However, I learned something years ago. It was beautiful. I think it was from one of my old professors about 20 plus years ago in Bible college. And they were talking about, Ken Davis, I think it was Ken Davis who shared this. Because he's a missionary, brilliant mind. And he was sharing about the whole idea that in the African culture, when you were invited to someone's house in the African culture, when someone showed up at your house, you let them in. You didn't make them wait outside, or you didn't tell them to wait to come to your house because you wanted to spend time cleaning up. either your house was organized or it was messy, and they were invited into your life to see what you looked like. Pure and simple. And I think the problem that we run into is that we don't want anyone to see us in our raw status. Raw. Stop. My wife is giggling right now. Stop it. Raw. R-A-W, not roar. That New York accent's going to kill me. The raw status of who we are. Oftentimes, we try and hide who we are. And sometimes letting other people see us, if we are a ladybug or a cricket, a butterfly, a bee, a roach, sometimes we got to let people see who we are in our natural state, because maybe they could have identified some of those things about who we are. Yet we be real with them and just say, we be real, that we turn around and we help people understand, hey, I'm struggling here and I need help. My buddy Scott on who comes on here is commenting here. He saw more than 7-8 years ago me talking about finances and being frustrated, but I had to be raw and real in front of him to express the frustrations that I had with my finances, for him finally to say, okay, I think it's time for him to hear about Dave Ramsey. But if I wasn't raw and real at that point, he never would have shared it to me. Scott just doesn't just share Dave Ramsey with everybody like I do, because I'm like, you need to know Dave Ramsey. I'm just like, listen, I know you don't want to hear it, but you need Dave Ramsey, okay? No matter how much we may tell people that they need Dave Ramsey, sometimes they have to be ready. And Scott waited for that very moment that I said the right words, I said the right combination. And then he's like, okay, now it's time, let's be real and let's have this conversation. And he did, and I really appreciate him doing that. Well, I think until we're real and raw with people, even about our disorganization, we need to wake up and see what's going on. Brandon says should an X date a Y to keep stress down. I am less than a bee, but I am not a roach beetle. My wife is a crickety butterfly, and it is rough for her. I know. So, brother, I know that our wives, we're going to close out this broadcast with prayer for spouses as they recover. But I believe that this might be helping you. For someone, click that link in the show broadcast, or just go to YouTube and look up Clutter Bug. Trust me, I believe that this will, of course, Jesus Christ is going to save you first, save you from your sin, and Clutterbug is going to save you with your stronghold of disorganization. Praise God for Clutterbug, because this is this is very interesting. But again, back to that whole idea, because of what Carrie's saying, you might never eat what they bring to a gathering if you see their houses. Yeah, that's true. If you go into the house of a hoarder and you see roaches climbing everywhere, you probably may not eat. Okay, agreed. Bingo. I like that. You may not eat from their house. You may think twice about that. Agreed. But let's continue with what she has to say. So we're going to get into crickets. Enjoy, because there's no crickets on what Carrie just said.
Traditional organizer. It's basically what all organizing products and all the things you see on TV basically are made for a cricket. Crickets are hidden organizers, so they prefer their things to be out of sight, but they're also micro organizers. And I feel like their tendency towards perfection definitely outweighs their need to have everything out of sight, which means if they do have bills that need to be paid or projects that have to be finished, a cricket will leave it out so they, like as a reminder to do it, even though they're not visual bugs, they still want to put things away properly or finish something 100% before they put it away. So for this reason, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between a bee and a cricket because they both can have neat piles everywhere. But a cricket really would prefer when everything's done, they're done with something, they're not going to use it again, to have it out of sight. They're going to take the time to put their papers behind closed doors or take the toaster off the counter and put it in the cabinet when they're done with it. Whereas a bee would rather have those everyday items out on the counter where they can access them. And last but not least, we have a butterfly. Butterflies and ladybugs are really similar in that they're macro, they're big picture thinkers. They are not going to stop to file things in a detailed way or put something away if they have to open a lid, they're already moved on. It's not that they're lazy, it's just that macro thinkers don't think in details. They think of the end goal. The difference is that butterflies are visual organizers. So they don't want to hide everything away unless people are coming over. Then they'll put everything in baskets and boxes and hide because company's coming. But for them, they like seeing their everyday things because it's out of sight, out of mind. So they like having their papers out or the things they use all the time. They love seeing their items. And this combination of macro organization and visual organization tends to lead to a lot of mess, as you can imagine. They're leaving things as they go because they're not taking the time to put things away in a detailed way, and they're leaving things out because they want to see all their stuff. So butterflies, more than any other bug, definitely struggle with a lot of perceived clutter. Even though ladybugs also have messes in all of our hidden areas, butterflies tend to have messes in all the visual areas too. So when you know your organizing style, then you can set up a system and a home that really works for you. So let's jump into my most frequently asked questions. The first question I get asked
Well, before we get into your frequently asked questions, I am definitely a butterfly. Actually, I'm more than just a butterfly. This is what I am. I'm a crick fly roach. I'm a crick fly roach. I'm a crick fly roach. I'm like a hybrid of the last three. Oh my goodness, yeah. Pray for my wife. Pray for my wife if you can, please, because we want to bring back sanity to the world, and I think there may be hope. So just as I'm not a hoarder. I'm not a hoarder. Well, I have some hoarding tendencies. I will say I have some hoarding tendencies, and some of the different things that they say. Listen, if you haven't used something in a year, get rid of it. But you know how many CDs and DVDs? I found a hard drive the other day that has videos and pictures of stuff that I've been looking for ages. So, as an IT person, we're the worst when it comes to the number of cables and everything like that I have. So I started months ago of zip tying a lot of my different audio cables, USB cables. I have like 5 types of USB cables. And the big thing that I've been trying to do, and I guess I need to get back to it, is the big thing I need to do is get back to the idea of taking those cables that go with a certain item and then basically taping the cable to the item so that when I need to use it, I already have all the parts and assembly required to use the feature. So if I have a hard drive that has a specific cable type that goes with it, that cable's attached to it. My monitors that has certain cable connections, I started sorting them out and zip tying those monitor cables. So like this monitor right here to my left, this monitor takes DisplayPort, I think 2 display ports and 2 USBs. So technically on the back of it, I should have those cables attached to it rather than putting them in a case. If or maybe better yet, I can actually have a bag that is basically labeled for that monitor that has those cables in there, so I know exactly where those things go. So then I think that's probably a better idea. So instead of actually attaching it to that, no, I just got to keep the mess out of the way. So I need to attach it to the monitor. I'll figure this thing out. because the butter, what is it, a crick fly roach has to come up with an idea on trying to, Little Lip says basically, then do a video as soon as you do it, you'll then do it as soon as. Oh, I was thinking you were saying me do a video. Yeah, I mean it's just insane. It's just insane. She was a funny. I'm going to go with her frequently asked questions in a second here, but I'm not lying. Do you ever think that this is very, very challenging for me with respect to organization? We're inundated with information on a daily basis, okay? 2 weeks ago, I took off a whole week staycation with the family. And I didn't do any broadcast whatsoever. And, seeing all the different news items. And I'm so glad I took that week off because I so wanted to talk about. I remember even the day before vacation, I'm on Daily Mail pulling all the articles together of what I want to talk about the next day. And I was like, oh, wait, I'm not broadcasting. So I need to walk away from this. And it's so easy for us to see a lot of the different things that are out there that completely drive us up the wall and make us insane. Because there's so much clutter that we bring into our minds. I'm not saying we can't. I'm not saying that we can't stay up with the news and everything like that. But we need to figure out a way to declutter and bring our minds to a moment that we can be free and not restricted. But I feel that sometimes we inundate ourselves with too much information that blocks our focus receptors from taking to the tasks that we need to. And when we do that, I think it makes matters worse. Let's continue with her before this closes.
All the time is, can I be a couple different bugs? Like, I'm not totally a ladybug and I'm a little bit of a cricket, and that's totally fine. I really want you can't put people into 4 categories. So I want you to look at this as a scale. For me, I'm 100% a ladybug, but some people may be partly a ladybug but have some cricket tendencies with their paperwork, or they may treat different areas of their homes differently. And so you don't have to put yourself in a box. You don't have to choose just one organizing style. But if you are struggling with an area to keep it tidy, or it's just not staying organized, or you just are feeling overwhelmed, it is a great tool for your toolbox to try to identify where your natural tendencies lie. Are you more visual? Are you more micro? And that can help you design a system that's going to lead to success.
And this is key because, and again, I love what Lisa said. She's like, I'm decluttering my home now and hoping it carries over to my mind. Oh, you have to understand something. For the last 2 years or plus, so I started with Mojo Fiber Radio, in 2018? December of 2018, Rondolph, the Gray, we were communicating, and I was previously on Lanterns Radio Network with Chris Pillier, and I really appreciate that offer. I really appreciate every person who's allowed me to be on the radio, starting off with Sherry McKnight and Truth Be Told Media, Liz Harrison, Wayne Dupree, Chris Pillier, and now being on here with Ron, Doc Thompson, and crew. And it's been an honor to be on these different programs and different networks. And as I try to get my life in organization, I would pray that as I'm getting better, or I do this more seasonally, I would have more organization, more structure, and so much more as I'm doing these broadcasts. And I need to identify these tools that makes me better when the information... we cannot be so sensitive as to not receive proper criticism that will actually, and it's not even criticism, but admonition at times, encouragement at times, and sometimes it's even criticism that we do need to see when we're off track. Not Off Track Syndicate that comes on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but off track in our lives and our minds because we have so much clutter. I mean, we've moved beyond clutter. We're in bust. We've just given up. And I, too, am hoping that this carries off as I'm decluttering. It goes into my mind, because here's one of the things that's really powerful. I'm done with this young lady. I really appreciate her. Clutterbug, please look into Clutterbug. The link is in the timeline, or just go to YouTube and look up Clutterbug. Watch the videos. Prayerfully, it's going to help you, because I know that I'm looking forward to the transformation that I need in my life. And here's why. For a couple years now, I've been trying to get my third book of Stone's Heart out in Kindle format. My oldest daughter, she finished my first book last month, and she's like several chapters into my second book. I bought the Kindle version, I put it on tablet, and she's been plowing through it. And I've been trying to get the third book out for a while, but I've allowed a lot of distractions to come into my mind, and it's just been such a heartwarming and emotional experience for me of my daughter coming back and reading my second book and reading the first book, because every response that she has had with the book, the first book of Stone's Heart, and even the second book of the first book is Stone's Heart, the heart of the Quest for Savid Varda is the first book. The second book is The Heart of Pagaila, and she's reading through that right now. And I want the Keys to Mokslas available, so when they start school this Thursday, I'm going to start continuing. And my goal is I have to have the third book finally edited and uploaded to Kindle format. So by hopefully before September of this year, have the third book finally ready. But it was just a heartwarming experience, because I was like, well, how am I going to jump back into this? Well, it's because of the fact that I can't focus on putting that time isolated so I can get back to all the writing that I want to do, all the movie stuff that I want to do. There's so much stuff that I need to do that I have just been so cluttered, and it's been utter chaos. Tim, that first step, unclutter thy brain. Oh my goodness. Well, I agree 100%. I think probably one of the best things I need to do is I'm going to have to really find a better way of balancing what I do with social media and so much more. I probably may not post as much as I do, and if I do, I'm just going to basically post to an editorial that's going to be on, because I need to update my Battle4Freedom page, my Watson Prunier page, website. I think I'm going to put a lot of more of my energies there, more so than trying to update what's on my website. I mean, specifically on those pages, unless it's really key that you see that there. I'm posting in too many different areas, and I just need to centralize and declutter even the platforms by which I share information, because it's just too much. It's just too much without a person to without an engineer for broadcast to help me in everything that I'm doing here. Without a program director, to help me with this, without a person specifically focusing on the posts that goes on my pages, there's just no time. There's zero time. And I think most of us, we try and figure out, where does that time go? Where do we lose that time? And I think the big task for all of us is let's start to one of my friends said, Scott said, second step is to invite friends over and let them declutter for you. Hey, you know what? Hey, that is a whoo. Wow. Yeah, that's a big step. That's a big step for a lot of us. Jamie Christopher says, tiny house in the woods would declutter thy head. Definitely declutter thy head. Amen. And then Tim says, just stay off the phone with all your friends. No clutter there. Yeah, I love that. That's great. Yeah, my wife would probably say, amen. I can give you an amen on that one. Listen, folks, check out this thing, Clutterbug. Hopefully this will be a point of interest and help for you. I have a meeting here in a couple minutes with work I need to jump into, and I need you all to just do the best that you can. I pray that this has been some level of help for you, because it truly is a stepping stone for organization and declutter in my life. Brad Staggs and the Daily Mojo's up next. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom. I appreciate every last one of you. Truly have a blessed day as the show winds down. As the heart beats, may you find the peace and organization you need in life as well.